Data centers that aren't just, endless rows of servers, but like bustling AI factories, right?
Yeah.
Pumping out crazy innovation at warp speed. And after going through Nvidia's earnings call, I got to say, this future is closer than we think, and it's kind of blowing my mind.
Well, the really interesting thing is that Nvidia isn't just riding this AI wave. They're the ones building the surfboards, setting up the whole wave pool, selling the tickets. They are the AI company right now.
Totally. And their CEO, Jensen Huang, he's like the architect of this whole new world, this vision where AI isn't just something we use, it's the engine driving everything, which is kind of wild when you think about it. And remember how we always used to talk about computers getting faster every year? Like that was just a given. NVIDIA is saying those days are over, or at least those days of just relying on the CPU anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. They're putting all their chips, so to speak, on something called accelerated computing, which sounds really technical, but basically it means instead of your computer doing all the work, it's getting a helping hand from these specialized chips like GPUs. And that makes everything faster from, complex calculations to running these crazy powerful AI applications.
So it's like giving your computer a brain specifically designed for AI.
Yeah.
Kind of like a super-powered AI brain boost.
Exactly, like adding a turbocharger to your brain. And the thing is, they're not just talking about it, they're actually doing it. They just unveiled this new platform, Blackwell, and this thing is, it's next level.
Okay, so let's talk about Blackwell. What makes it so special?
So imagine this, 144 GPUs, all connected together using their NVLink technology.
Hold on, 144.
Yeah, 144, all working together in one system. The processing power is mind-blowing, and this is the tech that's driving the explosion of generative AI.
Okay, but when we say generative AI, it's not just like ChatGPT writing your emails, right? Or those AI image generators that are all over the internet, although those are pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. But it goes so much deeper than that. This is about AI being woven into every aspect of our lives in a way that we haven't even really seen yet. Imagine shopping online and the recommendations are so good. It's like the algorithm knows what you want before you do. Or advertising that actually shows you stuff you're interested in instead of just, whatever.
So it's like this whole other level of AI integration that we're just starting to see the very beginning of.
Precisely. And get this, it's not just about the hardware anymore. Nvidia is actually making a killing on their software too.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Companies aren't just buying the building blocks anymore. They're buying the whole kit and caboodle, the software, the tools, everything they need to build their own AI empires.
So they're not just selling picks and shovels for the AI gold rush. They're selling the maps and the training manuals too.
Exactly. And this all leads to what Jensen Huang calls the $1 trillion shift. He's basically saying that the next $1 trillion that gets pumped into data centers is going to be fundamentally different from the last trillion. It's a whole new ballgame.
Okay, so that's huge. But what does that actually look like in the real world? I mean, what does a world dominated by accelerated computing actually mean for, the average person, for people who aren't building data centers?
Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Basically, it means that AI is no longer just a tool. It's the foundation of how we do everything, how we process information, automate tasks, you name it. Think of it like switching from a horse and buggy to a high-speed train.
Whoa, okay. That's quite a shift. We're talking about a complete transformation of, everything. From how businesses operate to how we live our daily lives.
Exactly. And while we don't know exactly what the future holds, there's one thing that's certain. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Interesting is one word for it. I mean, it's exciting for sure, but also a little overwhelming. Like this whole $1 trillion shift, can NVIDIA really pull it off? Is this growth actually sustainable? It feels like everyone's just waiting for the AI bubble to burst.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? But you see, NVIDIA, they're not just selling a product, they're offering a solution to a problem that's just getting bigger by the day.
Right.
And that problem is data. We are drowning in data. The amount of data we're creating is just exploding, and our old ways of dealing with it, they just can't keep up.
It's like we've been running the internet on hamster wheels, and now we're finally switching to, rocket fuel or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about raw power, though. It's about efficiency, too. Jensen Huang actually made a big point about this in the earnings call. He was talking about how data centers are already these massive energy hogs, right? And if we want this AI revolution to be sustainable, we've got to figure out a way to power it without, cooking the planet.
Right. So that's where NVIDIA's focus on energy efficiency comes in. They're not just building faster chips. They're building chips that use less power, which I guess is good for everyone in the long run.
Exactly. And you know what? By making their hardware more energy efficient, they're also making it more affordable, which means it's easier for businesses of all sizes to actually adopt these AI solutions, which is, I think, really important for getting everyone on board with this whole, AI-powered future.
So win-win all around then. But
Yeah.
okay, we've talked about the demand for Nvidia's tech, but can they actually keep up with it? I mean, it seems like everyone wants a piece of the action.
Yeah, well, that's the other billion-dollar question, isn't it? The short answer is it's complicated. They've definitely had some production challenges, especially with this new Blackwell platform. It's so in demand that they're having trouble keeping up, which I guess is a good problem to have in a way.
Right.
But they are investing like crazy in expanding their manufacturing capacity, and they're partnering with the best in the business, companies like TSMC. So it's a tightrope walk for sure, but I think they're going to stick the landing.
Okay, but even if they can ramp up production, there's still competition, right? It's not like Nvidia is the only game in town. So what makes them stand out in this, I don't know, AI arms race?
That's a great question. And you're right, there are other players. But I think Nvidia has a few key advantages. First, they've been in the AI game for a long time, over a decade at this point, and they've built up a ton of expertise, not to mention intellectual property. Second, they have this incredibly strong ecosystem. Like I was saying before, they're not just selling chips, they're selling a whole platform with software, tools, partners, the whole nine yards. And third, they have Jensen Huang.
Speaking of Jensen Huang, he seems to be a driving force behind all of this. I mean, what is it about him? What makes him different from all the other tech CEOs out there?
Well, he's more than just a CEO, He's a visionary. He's been talking about this stuff, accelerated computing, the AI revolution for years, and he's been completely laser focused on making it happen. Plus, he's a brilliant engineer himself, and he can actually explain this stuff in a way that makes sense, even to someone like me who's, not exactly a tech whiz.
So he's like the Steve Jobs of AI then.
I think you could say that. But I think it's more than just personality, There's a real sense that NVIDIA is playing the long game here. They're not just chasing profits. They're building something that could really change the world.
Which brings us back to this whole trillion-dollar shift idea.
Yeah.
If NVIDIA is right and we're on the cusp of this massive technological shift, I mean, what does that actually mean for everyone? It's exciting, don't get me wrong, but also a little, I don't know, scary, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. It's exciting and a little scary all at the same time. It's like we're standing on the edge of this vast, uncharted territory, and we know it's going to be transformative, but we have no idea what's around the corner.
So what do we do? How do we prepare for an AI-powered future?
Well, the best thing you can do is stay informed, stay curious, and be ready to adapt. Because this AI revolution, it's not something that's happening to us. It's something we're all a part of, whether we realize it or not.
It's like that old saying, the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Exactly. And with AI, we have the power to create a future that's more innovative, more efficient, and hopefully, a better one for everyone.
Okay, so we've established that the AI revolution is here, NVIDIA's at the forefront of it, and it's going to change everything.
Duh.
But there's this one big question we haven't really touched on yet. The robots.
Ah, yes. The robots. The question on everyone's mind.
Right. We're talking about machines that can think, learn, create. Are we on the verge of some kind of, I don't know, sci-fi future where robots are doing all the work and we're all just like lounging around?
It's a question that sparks a lot of debate, that's for sure. And honestly, we're not at that stage yet, not quite. But the reality is AI is already automating tasks that used to be considered, exclusively human territory.
And NVIDIA is right in the middle of it all, especially with their work in robotics. Like, we haven't even talked about their Isaac platform, which is basically an operating system for robots, right?
Exactly. And it's not just about robots doing repetitive tasks in factories anymore. We're talking robots that can assist with surgeries, deliver your pizza, even provide companionship. The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing, to be honest.
Okay, I gotta admit, that's both really cool and a little terrifying. What does all this mean for jobs? Are we all going to be replaced by robots?
It's a valid question, and it's a conversation we need to be having. But here's the thing. Throughout history, whenever we've had these big technological leaps forward, we've seen shifts in the job market. Some jobs disappear, new ones are created, and there's always a demand for new skills. The key is to be adaptable and never stop learning.
So instead of being afraid of the robots, we should be learning how to work with them. It's not man versus machine, it's man with machine.
Exactly. AI isn't here to replace us, it's here to augment our abilities, help us solve problems that we could never solve on our own, and that's something to be excited about.
It's like having a superpower. But, with great power comes great responsibility, right? We have to make sure that we're developing and using AI in a way that benefits everyone, not just, a select few.
100%. And that's why it's so important to be having these conversations, to really think about the implications of this technology and make sure that we're using it to build a better future for everyone.
Which actually reminds me of something else Jensen Huang talked about, democratizing AI. What did he mean by that?
So he's talking about making sure that the tools and technologies of AI are available to everyone, not just giant corporations or governments. Because if we really want AI to reach its full potential, we need everyone's input, right? We need diverse voices, diverse perspectives, all contributing to its development.
So it's not just about building amazing technology. It's about making sure the technology is used to build a better, more equitable world.
Exactly. And that's where the real challenge and the real opportunity lies. Because AI, it's not just a technology. It's a reflection of us, of our values, our dreams, everything. And the future of AI, well, it depends on the choices that we make today.
It really is like looking in a mirror, isn't it? This whole AI thing, it's showing us not just who we are right now, but who we could be too. And that's, I don't know, it's both exciting and kind of intimidating,
No, for sure. This isn't some science fiction movie. This is real life. We're literally shaping the future with every decision we make about AI, how we develop it, how we use it. It's a big responsibility.
So where does that leave us then? I mean, if there's one thing you want our listeners to take away from this whole deep dive into Nvidia and this AI revolution, what would it be?
Honestly, I think it's important to remember that we're still so early in this whole thing. Like everything we're seeing now, as crazy as it seems, it's just the tip of the iceberg, really.
So it's like we're at the base camp of Mount Everest. We can see the peak in the distance, but the real climb is still ahead of us.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, there are going to be risks, there are going to be challenges, but the potential here, it's huge. We could solve some of the world's biggest problems with this technology.
So it's like, approach this with cautious optimism, right?
Yeah.
It might be a bumpy ride, but the view from the top could be incredible.
Exactly. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay curious, because this train's leaving the station whether we're on it or not, right? The question is, what role do you want to play in all of this?
It's a great question. And on that note, I think we're going to have to wrap things up.
Yeah.
But wow, this has been quite a deep dive, from the nitty-gritty of how these chips actually work to this mind-blowing potential of AI changing, well, everything.
It's been a really fascinating conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And to everyone listening, thank you for coming along for the ride. Until next time, keep asking those tough questions, keep digging for answers, and most importantly, keep your eyes on the future.